another episode of Pakistan on a Plate. This is a little unusual. Those of you who have been following my channel know that I have published a book called Culinary Tales from Balochistan. And one of the ingredients from ancient Balochistani culinary traditions is Shenai. And there are a few recipes in the book which use this well-known, Balochistan well-known ingredient called Shenai. What I was interested in was to find out if our chefs and one of our best chefs in the country, what could he possibly do with this ancient ingredient? This ingredient, we are told, is a derivative of pistachio. Wild pistachios grow on the hilly, semi-arid lands of Balochistan. Very difficult to try and figure out what we could do. So I asked Ammar of Burning Brownie and of Brew. Those of you who live in Islamabad know him extremely well and love his desserts. And he was very kind enough to see that let me experiment with what we could do with Shenai in a modern confectionery idea. So we will first have a conversation about the whole thought process and what did he do to ancient Shenai. Okay. Thank you so much, Ammar.
You're welcome. So basically this is extremely, I'd say extremely sour and earthy.
Yes.
And what we tried to do was to kind of bring in how we would process cocoa or cocoa coffee.
Okay.
So what we did was we washed it to take off any impurities. And this has been washed 7 times.
Wow, 7 times.
Yep. And then after that, we roast it at a relatively low temperature of 150 degrees for around 7 to 8 minutes. And then once it's out, we dry it out and we throw it in the oven again at a higher temperature.
Wow.
That's to just kill off the sourness that comes in. Though the earthiness is still there, but we balance that out with some caramelized sugar. And after that, what we will do is we'll kind of mix it up into a paste like a praline.
Okay.
And use that as a base for an ice cream.
Okay, and remember in our conversation, we talked about that, Balochistan is not an area which grows sugarcane.
Yeah.
And so we had this discussion about dates as an alternative that they themselves also use.
Yeah.
Even now, but certainly in ancient times. So what are these that you have over here?
These are Balochi dates. So what we've done is we wanted to figure out a way to because we've taken 2 concepts with the dates. We wanted to do something that's commercial in a way. If somebody from Balochistan wants to do something, add value to these,
yes.
So they can do something on those lines. So these are dates that we've aged. They're kind of a bit fermented. So these are like semi-fermented. These are fully fermented. And these are like in between the two.
And what do you mean by fermented?
So basically, we've aged it under pressure and humidity.
Okay.
And that's helped us kind of completely change the flavor profile.
And does it become sweeter or smokier or what?
So the more you age it, the smokier or it brings in a bit of bitterness to the skin, but not the flesh. However, it becomes a lot more chewy and it has a lot more caramel notes and it becomes a bit more nutty.
So what are we going to do today?
We're going to make an ice cream with this.
We're going to make an ice cream with Shenai.
Yeah.
And
with this, we can do many different things. What we decided was we're going to do like a chocolate, it's going to be a date-based bonbon sort of a thing. But it's so we're going to turn this into a puree. Then we're going to add some Balochi nuts to it, and then we coat it in chocolate. So basically, it's something that can be done and marketed as something very Balochi, and without the chocolate.
And do you think we will maybe see some of this in any one of your confectionery?
Definitely. We will have this. So one of the things that we used to do with dates was we had during our last video shoot, we did a gajar ka halwa.
That's right.
So something like that, we can do something like that with the dates as well. But it's just that we wanted to do something that's simple and something that's because a lot of these, I mean, with dates, that's not a problem. With this is a very quiet taste. I mean, this is something. It's hard to kind of. It's you won't. Most people might not like it
Okay.
the first time, but eventually, as they get used to the flavor, they kind of.
It's an acquired
Yeah,
taste.
yeah. But with this is something that I mean, there are endless options. Even if we just use the aged dates as they are.
Okay.
I mean, because the thing is, they have such a different flavor profile from what they actually. I mean, if I look at this one, this reminds me of Ajwa dates, which I don't think grow in Pakistan. So, I mean, from these to that, I mean, that's alone just by adding a process that's different from what's normally done. It just adds a lot of
So
value.
you see, that's very important. So we have local Balochi dates, and just by making it, like using modern technology and the science of a confectionery chef, we are able to produce it in a fashion where the flavor palette for the Pakistanis, which they love, ajwa, for example, use that as an analogy. There was a creation of that. So that's incredible. I mean, we're using our ancient ingredients and creating a flavor palette which is familiar to and loved by Pakistanis. So that's incredible. And so, this is exactly the whole purpose of Pakistan on a plate, that we share and discover our own ingredients and then experiment, in our own.
The interesting thing about this is like this is an extremely dry date.
Yes.
But if you have any of these, I mean, they're extremely juicy. I mean, I don't know where that come from, but it's just incredible.
The
to have
nature,
them.
one was able to sort of take out the fundamental nature of the fruit. That's amazing. So let's begin and let's see what the maestro does.
Done. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wash this. I'm gonna wash this 3 or 4 times. So after we've washed it, let's throw it on the tray. And we're gonna. The first thing is to dry them off and then to roast them.
Okay.
So we're just spreading them around and putting them in a 150 oven. So after roasting and drying, this is what we get. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add around, I mean, basically the ratio that we've used is like 2 parts of Shenai and 1 part sugar.
Okay.
And so it's basically, but you can change the ratio based because because we have sugar within the ice cream as well.
Yes.
So we don't want to add a lot of that. Sugar.
Caramelized sugar.
So what we do is we just caramelize it and let it sit and solidify. And one of the most important things is you have to make sure that you don't over blend this.
Wow.
And now this is the first step. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sift this. Then because not all the beans have shed their skin, so we're gonna redo it in different steps. But first we have to sort of. So see, that's the important bit. That is what we need.
Okay, so that's
The
the
skin.
product that we need to remove or use.
It's juice.
Use.
We can't use the seeds.
That's right.
And now check the smell now. Now it's become a lot more nutty.
This is what, the coffee
Yep.
smells and tastes
Wait,
like.
yeah, and we're gonna get there once we throw this again in the blender and create a paste out.
Wow. This is why it's so important to use science, food science. So from ancient ingredients to try and make it into a modern confectionery requires food science.
Now it's more of a. That's because the seeds are broken down.
Yeah.
And I think we can do. Now this is something that obviously we'll have to talk to somebody about this, but I think that if the seeds, can be used as a seasoning to something savory. Yeah, I mean they smell like coriander seeds.
Yes.
So we've added a bag to the other machine, and now we're going to turn it into a paste.
Wow.
So this is like the kind of like so we're gonna further. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add a little bit of milk to kind of bring it all together, and then it's so strange that all of the milk is absorbed by these so quickly you won't be able to tell that there's milk in it. So you see your paste.
Oh, wow.
So what we're doing is we're kind of making sure that we get rid of any little seed bits. This is an ice cream base.
What is that?
It's basically milk, cream, sugar, eggs, and that's it.
Okay, so this is
It's a
called
very
an
different-
ice cream base.
Yes, yeah. And that's cooked to an 85 degrees to pasteurize it. And now we're just gonna add the paste. I'm gonna probably around a tablespoon first. So you see the color? It's kind of like a very mild coffee.
So you're adjusting the taste
Yeah.
to more or less.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
we-
I want to have it to an extent where it's a very balanced flavor and you can taste the snail.
Sift the Shenai paste once again.
We're gonna make ice cream with liquid nitrogen. The reason we're using liquid nitrogen right now is because we don't have enough base and we want to quickly freeze the ice cream. I'm gonna mix these two. I'm not gonna be using
You're
that for
mixing
now.
roasted 2 and roasted 3.
Yeah, and so and then we're gonna blend them together to create a paste. It's not complete, but it looks like tamarind right now.
Yeah, imli jaise.
Yep.
Transfer the blended dates into a bowl and add Balochi nuts, almonds, pine nuts, and raisins. Blend them well in. Step 3. Shape the date mass into balls or logs as you prefer. Step 4. Shift the date logs into a chiller for some time. Step 5. Melt chocolate pellets.
So you have to melt it at what temperature to temper it?
Generally, for dark chocolate, we kind of melt it at around 45 to 50 degrees, and then we add chocolate.
Another layer of
Yeah,
chocolate.
and then we bring the temperature down. You see, I can touch the pan; it's not that hot.
that itself lowers the temperature when you're adding
that's the whole idea, because this chocolate is tempered. So what we're using is tempered to kind of help us with tempering more of the other foods.
Step 6. Take out the date logs from the chiller and dip them into the tempered chocolate. Step 7. Using a stick, take out the date logs from the chocolate slowly, evenly making sure the chocolate is on all 4 sides.
I'm going to try a little bit.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice, huh? I like it.
So this is from where we started.
Yeah.
And that was the second step. Like, just look at the color difference. And that doesn't have anything in it other than the same date.
A date from Balochistan to Ammar's date bar to the 3.0 chocolate date bar. Amazing.
Step 1. Wash the Shenai beans 7 times. Step 2. Roast the Shenai. Step 3. Blend the Shenai to separate the skin from its seeds.
I'm going to use the water to get the water flavored and then heat that up to make the coffee.
Oh, okay, you're doing it in reverse.
Yeah.
Rather than making the paste and then
Yep.
putting the water. Okay. Very nice.
You see, this might not have the same flavor profile because again, I didn't. Okay, we're going to heat it up. We're going to cook it.
Step 6. Heat the Shenai water, cook it and roasting it until it turns into a lovely coffee beverage. Step 7. Using a coffee filter paper, sieve it once again.
So tell me, Ammar, I mean, of course, I was very persistent and insistent on you experimenting. How has it been for you? Like the experimentation process and, like the idea of playing with this ingredient has been fruitful, frustrating, what?
Initially, it was frustrating because sometimes you need to have you have to be in some way be familiar with the ingredient. With this, because it was something completely strange and something that we've never worked with before. So it was extremely hard because if you're familiar with something or if a certain thing has an underlying flavor profile that you can relate to another, with this, when you have it raw, it's just like having grass early. But that was the whole struggle. That was where we couldn't figure out what to do with it. But then eventually, as we washed and started roasting it, we still think that there's a lot more that can be done with this. And this is going to be extremely strong and bitter, I think. This is going to be more savory tasting and
This is not, this is like kind of tangy.
yeah. That's because again, roast. You need to really roast it longer.
Yeah, tang, like tangy. I hope you enjoyed this process with Ammar Mumtaz, looking at what we could do with Shenai. We have a beautiful tangy coffee or tea,
Yeah.
a kind of Shenai coffee or beverage, wild pistachio roasted hot beverage, and then we have with Balochistan dates mixed with other nuts, this incredible
Fermented
chocolate
dates.
covered
Fermented dates.
with fermented dates,
Yeah.
this energy bar,
Yeah.
you know. And then we have finally this beautiful ice cream, Shenai ice cream, which has completely melted now, but on the day of the event, we are going to have a fantastic sampling. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful art exhibition and reinterpretation of Balochistan's ancient ingredients by maestro chef Ammar Mumtaz. Until next time, Khudafis.